Gym Makers presents the Beyond Brilliant broadcast, where we empower ladies and leaders to shine in their brilliant zone. Join your hosts, Dr. Nicole Steele and Dr. D. Parker, as they share their secrets to help you gain clarity, build confidence, and unleash your courage. If you're ready to get connected, gain insight, spark your creativity, be inspired, and embrace your brilliance, grab a pen and a friend, and let's get started. Welcome to the Beyond Brilliant broadcast, where we empower ladies and leaders to gain the clarity, confidence, and courage to shine in their brilliant zone. I'm Dr. DeYonne Parker, the Courage Catalyst, and honey, I am that hand on your back that pushes you out of your comfort zone all the way into your courage zone. And I am joined by the ever so fabulous, my purpose partner, Dr. Nicole Steele. Tell the people who you are, girl.
Yes, I am Dr. Nicole Steele, the confidence coach, and I am that voice in your ear reminding you of who and whose you are. Oh, so Dr. D, we are here with some very familiar faces for those that listen and tune in to the Beyond Brilliant broadcast. And for those who have not seen the last couple of segments, we have been talking about what it is to be 50-ish and fabulous, because somebody in the building experienced a phenomenal 50th birthday. And I think she might have a black shirt on that says Beyond Brilliant. For those who have not, who aren't aware of Gym Makers and what we do under Gym Makers and with Beyond Brilliant, we have live experiences, and we had the most phenomenal girl get your swag back bash and birthday party for you.
Yes.
But I know, Dr. D, that as you were approaching this monumental year, there were a lot of things going on in your head. And so tell them what brought us to today's show and who we have in the building.
Absolutely. But let me warn you before we even get into that, honey, I'm going to need you to go, all you, yes, you, and all of you to go grab your pen and, honey, a friend, and tell her, turn it on, because what's going to happen here, there's going to be some gems dropped today, whole gems, and you're going to need to pick these gems up and put them in your treasure box, because the last time we got here, the last two times, let me tell you, I needed to understand what it was going to be like to be 50 and over 50. And I had some questions, and these wonderful women said, listen, first of all, I got it before. I didn't even solicit it. They would give me advice prior to, let's just be real. And then they said, yes, we will come and we will answer your questions and bring all the wisdom. And that they did. So if you didn't catch those episodes, I encourage you to go back in our archives and look at those episodes, because you don't want to miss this. So we have brought them back, and another guest, to drop this wisdom on you. So who's in the house? We've got Dr. Natoshia Anderson. Hey, girl. Hey, welcome back.
Hey.
Yes. We've got Dr. Cynthia Harper. Welcome.
Good evening, my beautiful sisters.
Yay. You see a new face. If you didn't see her before, we've got Dr. Linda Trusedale. Hey, how are you, beautiful?
Yeah, I'm doing just fine.
And then, honey, not last and definitely not least, Dr. Adura McDaniel. She's back in the building. Yes, and we're about to have this fabulous conversation all around our wonderful body, minds, and our souls. So let's get this party started, Dr. Nicole Steele, and what we're about to talk about today.
Yes. So, when we were in the virtual green room preparing, you all had a lot of laughs and some kind words when you saw me with my fan. Because I do not go anywhere without my fan. And I thought today we would start it off with talking about some of the beautiful changes and maybe even some of the frustrating things, the real deal when it comes to aging. And so one of the things that I know I've experienced is what my sister calls your own personal summers, and it comes like a flood and then it goes away. I have the fan on, then I turn the fan off, then I put on my fuzzy socks and I take them off. And so I am in this menopause season, and there are a lot of things that I like about it. And I think we can all agree what good good things come out of that. Mm-hmm. But on the other side, it has been an adjustment. And so for our guest, I want to open the floor and let's have a real conversation about some of the joys and pains, as my favorite artist, Mr. Frankie Beverly says, the joys and pains of life. Let's talk about it here. So does anybody want to tune in, to jump in?
So let me say something real quick, and then I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Mac. The thing they don't tell you is that at the end of the hot flash is the cold flash. Girl, come on. Just thought I'd throw that out there. I'm done with, okay.
Dr. Natoshia, you just said a whole word, child. They don't even tell you about the inferno flame that starts from your toes all the way up.
And then you get cold. And it's like, what? Lord Jesus, what?
So basically, I've learned that the fan is my new bestie. Mm-hmm. The fan is by my bed. I have the fan that I showed you guys last week, coupled with the fan that Dr. Nicole had earlier in her hand. So basically, I'm at 3 fans. The fan is pretty much on all day long. These flashes are real. And I'm telling you, it's like, and if you didn't have the experience of having the one leg out of the bed, like you are not official. If you have that one leg hanging out the covers and the fan on you at the same time. And so you are officially in the club, the 50-ish club, if you have that combination. And so I was thrown into this place in my 40s because I mentioned last time that I had a partial hysterectomy. So it threw me into menopause very early. So I've been in this thing for a minute and I'm kind of wondering, when is it going to stop? But thus far, I'm still here. And so I think that's one of my biggest challenges. And I think at your party, Dr. D, it was to the next level. Something transitioned on Saturday because y'all saw me pretty much through the whole party, walking with the fan. Plus I was recording videos for y'all pastors. But anyway, I was threatening y'all that I was sending the video to the pastors. But anyway, y'all didn't know it. And so, Dr. D, your pastor was there earlier, so you kind of got a pass because I noticed you turned up after she left. But
yeah, and I've got the evidence, baby. I got the evidence. Yes, ma'am.
And so I saw pretty much everybody in the room was flashing a couple of times, but I think I got the flash award on this past Saturday. And so, that's pretty much been my story, is that the fan is now my bestie.
I totally feel you on that. And I totally feel you on the early menopause. I've been there well before some of you ladies on here. I know what it's like because I was in there early on. But again, mine now have subsided. So if that is any encouragement to you, they come. Now, when I do a turn up, now they do come.
They do come. I went through menopause early as well, but I went through, and I used to say it was like spontaneous combustion. That literally there was this spontaneous combustion. But what I did, I went out and bought a book on what my husband could expect. And not only my husband, but my kids, because I was raising a teenage son at the same time as I'm going through menopause. And it was like Jekyll and Hyde in my house. And I remember one day he called his dad because I had this thing going on. It was hot flash, spontaneous combustion. It was emotions, all kinds of stuff all over the place. And I remember I hit the wall and I literally put a hole in my wall. near my kitchen, and he called his dad. He said, "Dad, Mom, you got to get home because she's losing her mind." He said, Dad, Mom's going crazy. But I'm dealing with his hormones as a teenager, and he was dealing with my hormones as going through menopause. So my house was just crazy. And I mean, I literally had to get a book for my husband for his sanity, to let him know this is what you can expect. It was rough.
That is real. That is real. One of the things that I think for some of my girlfriends, we talk about not just the changes with things like menopause, but the body changes, the weight gain. I wish somebody would have told me about that there. I mean, had pulled me to the side and really said, "No, for real, Nicole,
For real.
I need you to be prepared because, woo, yeah." But even in that, I mean, getting to a place where you embrace the changes, the physical changes. If that means you have to change things in your wardrobe, that means you have to change your hairstyles. Mm-hmm. I have girlfriends and their hair is thinning and different things like that. So they have to be very creative, recognizing that this is part of life. However, it does not stop us from still being brilliant. You know, we just have to adjust. So I just want to open up the floor for that. If there's anyone who has any advice or can share their truth with how you've gotten adjusted to some of the other physical changes that you might have gone through.
So one of the things that I'll say is I'm still not embracing the weight gain, because it's not just a weight gain, but it's a weight shift and a change. The body reshapes. And I think I find it very difficult to deal with the reshaping of my body, the enlargement of my breasts, the widening of my butt, the widening of my hips, but the flattening of my derriere. It's very unattractive to me. However, I still have to, as you said, look at myself and acknowledge I am not just external. I'm an internal being that God's created, and I still have purpose. I don't like it. I'll be honest with you. I don't like it. The hair, I never went through a lot of the sweating, but I went through the emotional upheaval of menopause really badly. It was, and for those of you who walked with me during that time, it was very unstable for me. Emotionally, it was very hard. I didn't have a lot of sickness. I didn't have a lot of sweats, but boy, did I have some emotional times that I felt like, I really felt like I was going into something that I didn't realize it was really menopause till it was pretty much over. Like, oh, that's what that was. So, I've learned to just to deal with my hair. I don't mind the gray, but let me tell you what the hair thing is. The hair grows in different places, and it's wiry. It's wiry. It's uncontrollable. Yeah. That's, we have this thing called androgens. It's a sexual hormone that's in our bodies. Men deal with it as well. And it can really affect your hair where it is coarse. It's very difficult under your chin. Because then you take all these vitamins, right? So we take these vitamins so that we can be healthier, biotin, all these, but it makes hair grow in places that you don't really want it.
Yeah.
So it's a catch-22 as you age, but yet and still embracing it and saying, okay, this is what it is. Lord, help me and give me the strength to function with, being content in everything that I have to deal with, but never complacent.
You know what, Dr. Cynthia, you said a couple things in there that I thought was super important for us to point out to our viewing audience and those who might be in this stage or might be entering in this stage. The mental and emotional part of menopause is really real.
It's real.
It's discounted. Women we make fun of it a little bit, even with our own selves, because we don't know what we're feeling and how we're feeling and how to get through it. But it's a very real piece because there are a lot of things that happen. And I think about it when women have have children and we go through the same emotional roller coaster ride when we talk about postpartum depression.
That's right.
That's huge. And so there's a lot of articles out there and research that talks about this for women and how to deal with that emotional piece. And I would say for those of us who are going through that, it is okay to get a therapist and talk through it. It's okay to not understand what's happening because your body is changing so drastically. At the same time, your mind is trying to catch up and understand, and you're up and down. But
you're just up and down.
Yeah.
And my voice began to become more raspier the older I get. And, you know, I had to learn to embrace that. It's a part of who I am.
Right.
I don't want to wake up, you know, I hope to be married someday, and we both sound like Barry White. But guess what? It is what it is. And sometimes it makes, and I have struggled with, man, that's not feminine. But I am all woman. I'm very feminine. So I have to embrace that. I really, really do. It's just, it is one of those things. But that emotional part, I think that women should start preparing their girls as they get to be 12 and 13 years old for the change that's coming, because it's real. It's real.
I think part of it is, while I agree with Dr. Cynthia, I think it's kind of hard to do that because you don't know how it's going to show up in you. Like even though we've all experienced on here hot flashes, my mother never did. So she couldn't tell me what she didn't experience. Right. And so it's like, you can tell them all of the symptoms that are going to come. You know, like you go up the stairs for something, you can't remember why you're like, absolutely cannot remember why you are there in the room, what you came in there to do. If you came in there to speak to someone, turn off a TV, you're like, I have no idea why I'm here. Right. And on the backside of that is that, or at least I'll speak for myself, is that there's a fear like, oh my God, is this, you know, like, am I losing my memory?
Absolutely. You know, am I going into early stages of senility, Alzheimer's,
whatever else,
mental disorders? And I think that's not a joke.
That puts you into this whole emotional roller coaster that you may not have been on. That one simple act can take you down a road and back again. And all because you came in here to, you know, you forgot your phone. You know, it's like something so simple. So it's all of it together. So I don't think you can talk about it in a vacuum. It's the physical, because then that works on your mental. Because for me, and this may sound rather vain, but it's true. I've always been a skinny girl my whole life. Skinny girl. I was the tall, skinny girl. And so to now have, you know, be in double digits in clothing and then having to deal with, you know, having a nice little belly, right? And having to buy new bras. And I'm in, you know, like me and Dee talked about it on the cruise. And I was like, you can have all of this. Like, I didn't ask for it and I don't want it. Like, you can have, just pick one.
Right.
And we can do what we need to do. Yeah. Right. And so it's like all of that works on your mental. And so I agree with you about getting a therapist, because you have to be able to talk about this. It's all confusing. And it's like, okay, I'm getting older. It's menopause. It's the thing. But like how it manifests itself and then how you feel about it, because that's the part. You don't know how you're going to feel about it.
Exactly. Ladies, this is getting really good. And we're going to have to go pay some bills real quick. So we're going to be right back. And again, my advice to you, honey, is to go grab a pen, a friend, and come on back and join us.
Are you stuck? Frustrated? In need of a fresh perspective? Don't want to go another year just thinking about that brilliant idea? Well, have no fear. Your struggle stops here. What you need is a brilliant brainstorm to help you begin flowing in your brilliant zone again. If you're ready, we're waiting. Schedule a brilliant brainstorm with members of our Gym Makers team to help you get unstuck today.
Well, welcome back. I know if you like me, I was catching all these gems. I told y'all before. Pen, friends, all these things. I'm just saying. I'm like a little student. If you just jumped in with us, I encourage you to rewind, watch it back, go back to the beginning because you want to hear all that's being said. We are talking, this is the 50-ish and fabulous club. Okay, I just was inducted. And these beautiful women here are giving us some really good wisdom about what to expect, how our minds are operating during this time, our bodies, our spirits, all of that. So jump on into this conversation. Dr. Cynthia and Dr. Adra, we were leaving off. We're talking about our bodies and our health and all of the things that happen when that we go to the doctor and hair in different places. So I'd love to come back to you, Dr. Cynthia, and then Dr. Adra, I wanted you to chime in on what you were saying as well.
You know, it's so funny. Before we get to the doctor, the hair stops growing on the leg, right? So we really don't care about that because we're not always in love with shaving anyway. That's culturally, that's not something that African American women haven't always done. Let me say that. My mom's never shaved on her legs. So it doesn't grow on your legs, but it'll grow on your face. It'll start growing in places like, that's so uncomfortable. But I wanted to talk about when we go to the doctor, over 50, there's always a report. There's always something that you have to prepare for. I used to say, I better take somebody with me because there's always a callback that you're like, what in the what? And so I tend to not make doctor's appointments that often, which is not good because we know that prevention is what we need to do. Yeah. Early detection is important. So I encourage you this, ladies, please go to the doctor, whether you want to hear the report or not. It is much better to hear something before it manifests to something else.
Fear is a mother, honey, and it will keep you captive and kill you if you're not careful. So that is so important. And one thing that I want to really speak to women in particular, because we will put everyone else above us. We will make that appointment for the kids, for the husband, for the parents. But when it comes to us, we won't slow down enough to put ourselves at the top of the list. And I've been guilty, but I'm doing better. So, Dr. Cynthia, I am so grateful that you brought that up because it's a real situation.
Mm-hmm. Let me interject just a bit because I've found in a romance novel of all things a really good definition of fear. Fear is the generator of doubt, the killer of dreams, the destroyer of trust, and a kidnapper of confidence. And we don't want none of it.
That's good.
That's good. Wow. That's good, Dr. Natoshia.
I'm gonna need that off air, honey.
Yes. That's powerful.
That is very powerful.
Very true.
Yeah.
Dr. Adra, you were gonna say something about the hair and the growth and our bodies in addition to what Dr. Cynthia was saying.
Yes, I wanted to talk about when we talked about the things that outside of hot flashes, I wanted to mention, of course, Dr. Steele mentioned the weight gain, which I'm experiencing right now. And what Dr. Natoshia said about the clothing size, I think I have about 3 different clothing sizes right now, which is bananas. But the weight is going up and down, but also the hair. My issue also is with the hair. So I love short hair. I've worn short hair, long hair, but most of my life, short hair. And so the thinning of my hair is something new. And Dr. Cynthia mentioned hair in different places. And so my eyelashes, my brows, all of that is changing. And so they're thinning out. And that's a really difficult thing to look in the mirror and see.
It is.
And so I'm seeing that I'm having to work a little extra hard in my 50s. I know it's important for us not to be vain, but I do know that God, it's okay. We're kingdom kids, so he does want us to look nice. And so for me, penciling the brows, just going the extra mile that I'm having to do just because I see the thinning in my brows. I see that my lashes have gotten shorter. So I'm having thinning problems. So I'm thinning in my hair, my lashes, and my brows. And so this is, everybody is different, like Dr. Natoshia said, but this is what is going on with my body. And I really have to talk it through. Sometimes I get on the phone, me and my girlfriend, we talk about it. And it's really a great therapy session for us. But these are some of the challenges that I'm having, and the fatigue. I don't know if you guys are experiencing fatigue, but I'm definitely experiencing fatigue, and I'm just making sure that my vitamin D is in place, B12, and making sure that I am taking my vitamins every day. But this is really, really different. And it seems as though the moment I turned 50, it was like all of this. And I know it was leading up to it, but I can attest that the moment I turned 50, I'm telling you, it was like a whole aha party that came and visited me and was like, wow, everything seemed like it hit all at one time. It was like, wow. So that's been my personal experience. It may not happen for everyone, but that's been really, really very challenging. And I have to be very intentional about how I do my hair, my brows, and you see me with lashes most of the time because I'm having those issues.
Doctor, exactly. I was going to say, Dr. Linda, you know, I think about, you know, you're, well, I'm looking at this beauty on this screen, honey, and y'all don't understand because I saw her erupt. So I'm just saying, I saw her break it down. and I was so encouraged and inspired by your energy. And so I just want you to speak to like your regimen and what you do to keep yourself so vibrant. I love that.
Wow. You know, people ask me that all the time about my regimen because I'm not a high maintenance girl. So the energy comes from within. I've always had this kind of energy. And when it comes to dancing, you put music on, I will be the only one on the dance floor all night long. I just love to dance. I have a passion for dancing. But also it comes from the fact that when I think about me being, I always say I'm my mother's age. Like when I started going into my 50s, I was like, wow, I'm my mother's age. Now I'm really my mother's age, what I used to consider my mother's age, because I'm 66 years old. And so it's like I have a 46-year-old daughter, a 26-year-old granddaughter. So I get energy from people, but it wasn't always that way. But I have to surround myself with different people.
Yeah. So again, listen, tune back into this. This is not it. We got a whole nother segment. We got to bring the ladies back because there's a lot more juicy that we got to talk about. Okay. So we like to end our shows by always letting you know a couple things. Check out our Beyond Brilliant Network. Go to beyondbrilliantnetwork.com. You have to become a member because there's experiences that you don't want to miss. And we want to leave you with this. Be bold.
Be brave.
And be brilliant.
Yes.
See you next time.
For more information, show ideas, or to be a guest on our show, please visit www.beyondbrilliantbroadcast.com.